and because we know if we can keep teams out of the end zone, really what happens between the 10-yard lines is irrelevant. But once we get down in there tight and we can hold them to 3, we feel like we can outscore anybody.
Is it just preparation, or is there something about your personnel that seems to fit well in the red zone?
I think it's a little bit of both. Obviously, we've got guys that can make plays up front and put pressure on quarterbacks that can stop the run. We got guys on the outside that do a good job playing our technique and make it really hard to just line up and throw fades or slants. And then the rest of it is scheme. Guys knowing where to be, how to close windows. Jordan Hicks has been a guy who's taking the ball away a lot down in the red zone specifically. Almost had one today. And so I think it's a little bit of both. It's a simple scheme that allows us to play fast. But we had some injuries where, guys are coming in. Kamu came in. Rodney came out, so we had to reconfigure some of our stuff. But it doesn't matter. Our X's are the spots, and everybody knows it.
We've been facetious, or do you guys really kind of embrace it and feel a little bit more comfortable when you're in the red zone?
I've just been a little facetious. But no, I do think that when we get to the red zone, everybody's completely comfortable. It's not like, a panic situation. And so we always feel like as long as, even if a big play happens, as long as it doesn't go for a touchdown, we're fine playing red zone defense. I'm completely confident in it. The game on the line, we've been in this situation too much and been successful not to be, confident in it. So it's something that we'll continue to improve on. We'll see new looks every week and as people attack us in different ways, and we'll continue to adjust.
What was your view on Derek's play at the end of the set? Did you see it? Or
I didn't see it, actually. They were running mesh shows, receivers running everywhere. All I saw was Luck trip up and hit the ground. But obviously our rush, has been the backbone of our defense. If we can take away routes early in the down and get quarterbacks to hold the ball, it's really hard for offensive lines to win, especially one-on-ones. And we saw that kind of all day today.
Do you think you guys have made this a little bit harder on yourselves than need be with all the penalties sometimes and sloppy?
No doubt. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to correct. We talk about losing the turnover margin, the penalties that we had. It's just situations that we tend to put ourselves in some bad holes, and you can't expect to continue to have success like that. But it's always easier to make those corrections after a win. And so winning is hard at the end of the day. As we go on, we need to find a way to get just a little bit better. If it's in the penalties, if it's in the turnovers, takeaways. We had a couple opportunities on defense to take the ball away and didn't come up with them. So as you start to look at the game in its totality, everybody contributes. And so we're happy, obviously, to win, but there's going to be a lot we can correct.
Jalen Mills had some pass breakups today. What kind of appreciation for how his whole career is usually getting knocked after a really bad game, and you got to replace him, and then he usually comes back and is the Jalen Mills. You laugh because it happens so much.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of playing in this city. He's playing a tough position where all eyes are on him. We don't roll help to anybody. Our defense, we put a lot of pressure on our corners, and he answers the toll. He goes against some of the best receivers in this league. And obviously showed up very, very early this game, made a bunch of key tackles, big stops. Somebody we'll continue to rely on. And I've seen it. I've been playing for 10 years, and I've seen guys, especially in this city, play that position and will allow the outside noise or a bad game to have their confidence sway. And I think for him, it probably fuels him more than anything. And that's what you need to be successful out there in the island, is to continuously believe in yourself, your technique, and just keep getting better as you go.
Malcolm, Corey Clement mentioned part of your post-game speech saying that this team is back in the winner's circle. Can you elaborate on what the message was?
I mean, the message was simple. It was, welcome back to winning, but, remember kind of what got us here. We didn't just show up and win the game. We came off a tough loss on the road. We came back, we evaluated, we prepared, and then we played. And so that's the same process and cycle that we just need to go to week. We'll show up on Tuesday, we'll watch the game, we'll flush it, turn our eyes to the Titans, prepare all week, and cut it loose next Sunday.
There were a few.
Right.
I was just going to say, it's been a while since you guys have had to bounce back from a loss. Do you feel like you guys were able to meet the goals that you were trying to set today?
I think we're going to go back on the table and still see penalties, especially on special teams. We're going to see, missed opportunities to get the ball in defense. We're going to see turnovers on offense. And we're areas that we want to improve. But it's always easier to improve after a win.
17 17-play drive, game-winning drive by the offense. Give you guys, I guess, a little time to rest late in that fourth quarter. Did you need it, or I mean?
Nah, we didn't need the rest, but we needed the points.
Yeah, right.
You know, it was a situation that fourth down that they went for. You know, we go back on the field and we'll be pressed to kind of get the ball back quickly with some time left. But for them to go down methodically and put points on the board, obviously put us, you know, in an advantage. You go up. Well, now we're defending a touchdown, not a field goal. It's not a tie, things like that. So that was a huge drive, obviously, for the game.
Now, what you guys see on
clean out day after seasons when you point out, you know, there's these close games that just went in your way, you'd still be playing.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about this team that you're able to win these games at the bullpen?
Well, I think a lot of the times at the end of games, especially close games, it comes down to execution and really, you know, your defense. Can you get a stop? I mean, that's how I usually view it. Whether it's a shootout or it's just, you know, one of those defensive games, it always comes down to whose defense makes the last play. Their defense had that long drive and ended up, you know, ending in a touchdown. Our defense, you know, held up. Even though it was a long drive, they got down to the fourth and one. We ended up making one more play than they did, and oftentimes that's the difference in this league. And so we feel very confident in somebody making that play for us, you know, making those plays on defense. And so when we get into situations, we prepare for it. We've been through it in practice. We've been through it in real game situations. So we just play.
We'll take a couple more, then
Now,
we're going to close
they
locker
bring
room.
in Brissett to throw the Hail Mary at the end there, and a lot of it looks like Andrew's throws are either short or underneath. T.Y. Hilton's number is really down. Did you notice on tape leading up to the week that Andrew is a little bit different, obviously coming off the shoulder surgery and missed a year?
I mean, yeah, I think he's still working his way back, but I mean, he still looks sharp. They've moved to, they've also changed their offense as well. You know, so their offense is very similar to ours, taking a lot of, you know, short, intermediate routes, getting the ball out of his hands, especially when you play a defensive front like ours. You don't want that ball to get, you know, out of his hands. I still think, obviously, you know, and I think the last play being a little bit of proof that if you got to really stretch the field, you know, he's been limited, but he's coming off of obviously that injury. But you know, we got a lot of respect for what he's doing. He's definitely still one of the top tier quarterbacks that can make plays. His mobility is something that's underrated, and obviously he's a smart quarterback.
I thought you'd killed Nigel.
I almost did. I felt bad. I was just worried about. I was trying to kill whatever was there, but he's all right.
On the red zone stop in the Atlanta game, I remember some of you guys saying that you knew from the formations maybe what they're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Does preparation matter even more when you get down in the red zone?
Yeah, I mean, you usually, you know where teams want to go with the ball. And that, I mean, in the red zone, the advantage is the defense because there's not much space, right? So they got to try to fit the ball into tight windows. And so when you can muddy those windows, you know which spots they like to hit. You can take that away. You also see where other teams might have had success, and it's a copycat league. So you usually see those same plays show up. And so we'll look back. It'll be some things I'm sure that'll pop up on tape that we'll know the other teams might want to use. We'll try to correct those and adjust. The good thing is everybody knows the defense well enough that making adjustments is not an issue. And we change, you know, tools within the coverage almost weekly. That gives us a little bit of advantage.